Now, broadcasting on Radio Star Worldwide, it's Your Life in Business. Fast Track to High Performance. Fast Track to High Performance Radio is where Dr. Emily Letran shows you how to excel through high performance and streamline your business so you can increase profits and win back time from work and spend that time with your family, children, and pursue your passion. Emily features guest experts from diverse business backgrounds who will give you nuggets for success which you can implement and achieve changes both in your personal and business life. And now, your host for Life and Business, Fast Track to High Performance, here's Dr. Emily Letran.
Good morning and welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Fast Track to High Performance Radio. This is a platform where I share my strategies to excel through high performance, to streamline your business, and increase profits. In the show, we will feature guest experts from diverse business backgrounds who will give you golden nuggets to success, which you can implement and achieve changes immediately, both in your personal and business life. This morning, I am honored to welcome Brian Kelly, a personal friend, and he is a certified personal trainer and author, the founder of Global Fitness Club, which is an internet-based venue that provides online workouts, breakthrough mindset tools, and proven nutrition solutions. He is also the lead trainer for Success Academy. His mission is to end the trend of what he calls FDD, or Fitness Deficit Disorder. It is a condition often found in entrepreneurs and busy professionals. So, Brian, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Emily. Thank you so much for having me. And before we go on, do I address you as Emily or Dr. Letran?
No, I would go by Emily.
Okay. I want to make sure.
Yeah, we'll put the doctor aside. No problem there. So Brian, one of the things that I talk to my clients about as part of high performance is energy. Every one of us need energy to go about in our day, but there's this big trend where people need a Starbucks in the morning and then a Starbucks in the middle of the afternoon, and sometimes people hang around and even go to coffee shop in the evening. Whether they're doing that for enjoyment or they're doing that to get a little boost in their energy because they start their day fine, and then sometime during the day everything starts lagging, or they may be eating a sneaker to get the energy, and then after that they just get that sugar crash. And so how do you address that in your fitness training, this roller coaster of energy that people go through the day?
Yeah, great question. And that you're hitting the nail on the head. A lot of people are turning to alternatives for their energy drinks, coffee, as you mentioned, sugary snacks. And that's something I address head on, where those are not sustainable. They give you an instant boost for a very short period of time. And like you said, then you go to that sugar or caffeine crash. And the true reason for a lot of that is we're an instant gratification society. In other words, we've come to expect to get things instantly. We go through drive-through for food now. Many people do that by habit. And that's causing us to all suffer collectively, those of us who partake in that type of behavior. And what needs to happen is a reset of nutrition. And it starts with nutrition. And I don't champion. I am a very big proponent of a nutrition approach called the paleo approach. And it's basically eating clean. If man made it, don't eat it. That's a famous quote by Jack LaLanne. I love that. Okay. And it really all comes down to nutrition. Nutrition first. Once you've got your nutrition handled, then it's time to get into a habitual exercise regimen. And that is something we can go into more detail later. But the two need to go hand in hand. And the third that is often overlooked is having what I call a champion mindset. If you don't have a mindset that's rock solid, that keeps you going forward with this good, healthy habit that you've newly developed, then you'll just revert back to your old habits.
Right. And one of the challenge that a lot of people face is as I'm coaching them in high performance is they say, well, I don't have time, right? And like I have this particular client, he say, well, I want to go to the gym, and in the morning when I wake up, it's too cold, and then when I come home in the evening, then it's too dark. you know they the mindset of always having an excuse because the time is never right to go to the gym. And so my advice to him sometimes, why don't you just start in your bedroom? You roll out bed and the first thing you do is you can do some stretch exercise. Why do you need to go to the gym and in order to work out? And then he says, well, because when I go to the gym I get more motivated. How do you encourage someone like that? Because they think they need other people to help them achieve what they want. I mean, I can advise him, but I like to know your take on that.
Yeah, and first of all, I think that was spectacular advice. Just do something. You were right on. Whether there's somebody there or not. See, it comes down to the person and their desire and motivation to operate at their peak performance. Because when they're not operating at their peak level performance, they don't understand often that they're not just impacting their own life, but they're impacting everyone else around them in the mannerisms, in the way that they react to people. When they're tired and cranky, guess how they're going to react to somebody when they ask them a question with, a cranky bit of an attitude. And so another thing is a lot of people talk about, I don't have time. That's the biggest excuse I get. That's the number one. And the real question should be to them is how could you afford not to make the extra time? How could you afford not to? Because the reality is I've had many one-on-one clients. I have a Global Fitness Club 90-day private coaching program that go through it, that come back. One in particular actually measured it. And he said he gained 4 hours of productivity as a result of a healthy lifestyle going through the program. So it's not about I don't have the time. It's shifting your habits to actually gain additional time for you to free you up to do even more things, work more, be with your family, whatever you choose with that extra time. It's an amazing thing.
Yes, and because usually when we're talking about any part of high performance, whether it's energy or productivity, it all comes down to clarity. Some people say some people need to exercise because of a challenge, right? Maybe they're overweight, maybe they always feel lethargic. Then the regimen for them is they may have to take some supplements, but they also need to start working out and let those muscles feel the pain a little bit for them to build back up their physique if they've been kind of so for a long time. But with the energy part and the productivity part, I think what people don't think about is, if you have to sit there and try to get your focus back and your concentration back, because you, let's say, go through that sugar crash, that you actually lose time along the way, which is what you say, where, someone actually gained time. Do you have a lot of clients who tell you that, where you can actually, quote, justify to them that this will help save you time or help you gain time?
Oh, absolutely. And, now that I have the clients to prove that it's viable and that it does work, that's really all I have to do is point to the actual objective evidence, show them a video of one of my clients saying, I saved 4 hours. And the amazing thing is, Emily, it's not just about time. It's not just about energy. There's some amazing side benefits that come as a result of a healthy lifestyle. I've had reports from my clients directly of allergies being completely eliminated. One of my clients actually had a nickel allergy, allergic to the metal nickel, and could not wear or touch metal. It would literally burn his skin. I've never heard of it myself before until I met this individual. After going through my regimen, he now not only is no longer allergic, but he wears a watch, an heirloom that means a lot to him, on his wrist that has nickel in it, that would have and did before get really hot if he touched it. He wears it every day now, and it means a lot to him. It's just amazing the side benefits you get from this, in addition to the things we're talking about directly, it's a no-brainer in my mind. And once you're able to sit down and talk to an individual and lay these out and let them know about the amazing benefits, they're so, it's the greatest. It's like the greatest high, natural high you could experience. For those that are lethargic, that are tired, the thing they find out is the moment they work out, no matter how tired you are. I've been there. I've been there too. You probably have too, Emily. Right? Where you just like, there's no way. And you know what? I am getting my butt out of this chair to go and actually inflict pain upon myself. Because, let's be honest, working out can inflict pain if you haven't done it for a while. Right. And the thing is, every single time that has happened, and it has happened many times in my life, and I know it will happen more, where I will be so tired I don't want to work out. Every single time when I'm finished with the workout, I feel absolutely amazing, invigorated, energized, and more awake than I had been for the past day. And so when you explain it to people like that and know that it's absolutely true, they will, either they'll accept it or they won't. It's their choice at that point. Right. Most of them just accept it and say, I'm going to go work out, man. I want what you're taking.
Right. So, and I know exercise is a very, very big part. What are your thoughts about nutrition? Because, some people, and of course I'm talking about, it's not like I'm talking about everybody, but some people think that, as long as I get on this green drink, then I will lose the weight. But then after whatever regimen it is, let's say a 30-day weight loss supplement drink, then they don't keep up with that routine. It could be, okay, I'm going to drink the shake, and then I have a healthy lunch, and then I have a balanced dinner, and then I exercise. They think that once they go through that 30 days, they already got their weight loss, they feel better, then they'll just go back to the old way. Because I'm sure you've heard about it plenty of times where people say, yeah, I lost the weight and then I gain it all back.
Yeah, and sometimes they gain more than they started with. And that's what's called yo-yo dieting. Perfect. So people start, they lose the weight, the yo-yo goes down, all the way down, and then they, like you just said, they stop. They did their 30 days, okay, back to the old habits, and the yo-yo comes back up, and they either gain most or all the weight, or even more weight than they had before. And that comes down to the topic of mindset. And that's one thing I've noticed in most gyms, most solutions. Nutrition is very, very, very important. Hit that really quick first. And his name is escaping me, a famous bodybuilder. This is a guy who builds his body for a living. Those massive guys with the muscles, and they go pose on stage. And for them, nutrition is very, very important as well. And one interviewer, not an interviewer, a prospective bodybuilder, a young man, approached him and said, hey, what would you recommend for me to get started in bodybuilding? And he looked up at him and said, because he was sitting down on a bench, he said, well, are you eating clean? Are you eating nutritiously? He says, well, I probably am not. And he goes, before you step foot in a gym and lift a single weight, get your nutrition right. Then come see me and let's get busy in the gym. And that went a long way with me to say that nutrition was that important. For me, being a former gym rat, I used to go to the gym every 4 days a week when I was younger. Now I actually work out more often. But that meant a lot, because a lot of people think, I can work out and then just forego eating properly because I took care of, the workout. I burned my calories. Or if they eat properly, they say, well, I ate a good meal, I can skip my workout today. It's like, no, they go together. And there's a third component called mindset. And what I've done is I've developed an NLP program based on neuro-linguistic programming that helps individuals reprogram their mind to serve them better, to give them that instilled habit immediately rather than waiting 30 days, the typical 28 to 30 days it takes to establish a new habit. And that way, after I'm done working with them personally for 30 days, for 90 days, for whatever duration, the idea is they won't need me again. I don't want them to be reliant on me or anyone else. I want them to have what they need already programmed into their mind and off to a new life for themselves that they can sustain. I'll always be here to support them. but I don't want them to be reliant on me. That's not the whole idea. It's to get people self-reliant.
Okay. And I know that you started the Global Fitness Club at 48 years old. Why do you want to start that movement, and why is it now that you feel that it's necessary to do that?
Yeah, I get a lot of raised eyebrows on that one. I'm for the record, I'm currently now 52, and it's an amazing thing looking back. Oh, a whole 4 years ago. 48 at that time seemed like a big number. And the thing is, what happened was I got really busy in a bad way. I say in a bad way. I was working a full-time job. I would come home and then work my passion job, which was entrepreneurialism. At the time, I was working with a business partner. We were interviewing entrepreneurs from all over the world, and we did this every single week, and there was a lot of prep work to be put in. So every night I would be up till the wee hours, 11, 12, midnight, 1 a.m., and then I'd have to get up at 5 a.m. and go back to my job and wash, rinse, repeat. And as a result, I developed some really poor habits. I stopped working out because there it was. I didn't have the time. Instead, I would reach for a beer or wine or something to calm the nerves and relax a little bit. And slowly, gradually, over time, without my even realizing it, I had really let myself go. I started gaining weight. I mean, I was never, ever heavy in my life. I was one of those, I guess, fortunate ones where, I grew up as an athlete, played a lot of athletics, and that kept me slim and fit. But as I got older, less and less movement. So that happened. So I got a health screen one day. I'd been through many. You get these on a regular basis. They do the usual, take your vitals, the blood pressure, they check your cholesterol levels, all that. And I've never, a single time, not once, ever had a single marker out of the comfort range or the good range,
Right.
Danger range. And I remember sitting across the table from the nurse, and you put your finger in this little machine, it pricks your finger, draws some blood, and within a couple minutes, it's got the results, which is amazing. And I'll never forget this, Emily. She looked up at me, and have you ever seen a horror show where there's a young lady who's scared out of her wits?
Right.
She had that look. Her eyes were just bug-eyed, huge. And she looked up at me, and she just exclaimed, she goes, "You need to see a doctor." And I just sat there like, what are you talking about, in my head, right? I'm like, what do you mean? I've never experienced anything like this, right? So I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm in denial. She goes, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Oh, please." She didn't go into detail because she wasn't at liberty to at that moment. Right. And so I just sat there and I'm like shaking my head like, what do you mean? She goes, and I was in denial so much to the point where she said, okay. And she was such a sweetheart. She goes, would you like to test it again and use your other finger? I said, yes, please, because I don't believe this. So we did, tested it, same exact results. Emily, I was in denial for the next 2 weeks. I still didn't believe it, which is crazy. And I remember coming home after work 2 weeks later. I opened the door, and there's my son. My son's name's Wyatt, and he's right there in the living room wearing a tank top and shorts. I knew what he was doing, but I just asked, "Hey, Wyatt, what are you up to?" He goes, "Hey, I'm working out, Dad." And Emily, at that moment, that was it. That's when, it snaps. The trigger in your head just says, I'm back. That's it. I'm going to start working out. I'm back to fitness. And I made some big decisions. I stepped away from that business with my business partner just to give myself the time I needed to get committed. And on that note, to get committed, I decided for my own accountability that in order for me to stick with it, I'm going to start my own fitness company so that, if I have to be the one that people look up to, then I better continue to stay fit. So that's why I started Global Fitness Club, and the idea spawned that very day.
Wow, so it was actually, you started that to keep yourself accountable.
Exactly. And the beautiful thing is, immediately after that thought hit my head, I said, you know what? This is going to be phenomenal because I can help other people to hopefully never reach that same point that I was at. And if they have reached it, at least I can be there to help them to get out of it just like I did myself.
I see. It might be a little hard for people to think the same way that you do, because just to keep yourself accountable, I'm going to start a business. That's a little bit, uh, that's a little bit too much for some. What about, well, you didn't think about maybe just getting a fitness coach? I mean, I know you're fit, but what about getting a coach or getting an accountability partner?
Absolutely. And for the rest of the folks out there that aren't at the point of starting their own fitness business, which is about 99.9% of the population, that is exactly, you hit it on the head again, Emily, is accountability partner. That used to be my number one tip for fitness, health, and nutrition is to get an accountability partner. What does that mean? That means, and this is the thing, a lot of people think they need somebody that has to be there with them as they work out, like physically in the same room. That is not the case. This has been proven through my program where, in fact, they don't even have to be in a similar situation. They don't even have to be working out with you. As an example, Emily, you're in the dental industry, and you could say, Brian, I want an accountability partner to XYZ to improve my dental business. I say, great, Emily. I want a fitness accountability partner so I can improve and maintain my health. And so you could each, call in, check in with each other. You don't even have to be in the same state. We have Skype like we're using right now to communicate. We have texting and just check in on each other on a weekly basis, pre-agree. And, Emily, if you didn't achieve your goals, I will give you a gentle virtual kick in the rear end. Okay. And I would expect to do the same for me. So as long as you're both holding each other accountable, it could be completely different things, just as I mentioned, then you can move forward. Absolutely. Getting a coach, a personal coach, that's a great way to start. Absolutely. Because that kind of sets you on the path that that you're certain that works. If you're just looking things up on Google and saying, well, I'm going to try this, I'm going to go to the gym, do these exercises, I'm going to try this nutrition plan, which may or may not be good for me because on Google, it could just be an advertisement. But if you get an actual bona fide coach, a certified personal trainer, an expert in the field, then you could end up saving yourself not only a ton of time, but even a lot of money by all the time and money wasted going down a path of uncertainty, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. I just heard this in one of the seminars I attended is a person with good health have a lot of goals, and a person with poor health only have one goal.
Wow.
How do you motivate people who whether they know they have, not such good health, or they actually don't know that, and you can tell because they're always complaining that they're tired, maybe they have they're short of breath, they can't walk up 2 flights of stairs, that kind of thing. As a certified personal trainer, how do you gently motivate people to at least start looking at themselves and get on that path to be more healthy?
Yeah, I take a different approach. I don't use gentleness when it comes to stuff like that. And here's the reason why. I take this very seriously. I take their lives very seriously. And I do this absolutely from love. I want nothing more than for them to save their lives. Maybe it's literally, maybe it's figuratively. And by figuratively, I mean saving their lifestyle, their daily life, having more energy every day. What would that mean to you? So I hit them really right between the eyes, and I actually interview them. I take them through an interview process. And some of the questions I ask them are pretty heavy. One would be, well, if you continue down this path that you are down now, how will this impact, let's say they're married, how will this impact your spouse? And I let them answer. I said, okay, now how will this impact your kids? And now go into their business. And I let them answer. And a magical thing happens, Emily. They start to realize how they're not just impacting themselves, but others. And when they hit that point, that's when it means the most to them. That's the way we are as humans. We will often do more for others than we will do for ourselves. And so when I ask that line of questions, and they get deeper and farther into it, but my goal is to extract that feeling from them, to realize that, look, today is the day, not tomorrow, not next month, not next year. Start now, or you may never start. And now you're going to impact your family and those who are close to you for the rest of your life, however long that may be.
Yes, that's a great insight, and that's actually something that I talk to my clients a lot, which is courage. Sometimes you have to look at the situation in the eye. You have to make that difficult decision. It's difficult to choose, your family. I mean, it's not difficult to choose. You always choose your family over, your eating habits, right? But it's difficult to make that decision where you make the unhealthy habits as part of quote life and death, right? Because it's going to be affecting not just you, but a lot of other people. And sometimes we just sink back into our comfort zone and just take it the easy way, and we don't want to face those difficult realities that we could lose ourselves. We may not be available there to support the families, and people who sometimes they don't make those difficult decisions, they end up with regrets in life.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So but that's such great insight. Thank you for giving that. We're gonna take a quick break, and we will be right back with Brian Kelly.
Life and Business, Fast Track to High Performance with Dr. Emily Letran. We'll be back right after this. As a gift to you, our listeners, Dr. Letran offers a free book you can download. The book shares her story and her business strategies for success. Please visit exceptionalleverage.com/ebook. Her book is called 5 Secrets to Growing Your Business. Again, download your free ebook right now at exceptionalleverage.com/ebook. Enjoy. Stand Up and Speak Up with host Walt Grassel. Sharing stories of people who have taken steps to overcome their fears and now lead stronger, more fulfilling lives. Are you ready to take that first step towards a different life? Join Walt as he shares his tales of triumph over stage fright and public speaking. Walt has performed stand-up comedy at the Hollywood Improv, as well as the Flamingo in Las Vegas, and wants to help you conquer whatever is holding you back. Join him and his guests for Stand Up and Speak Up. Every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Radio Star Worldwide and on demand 24/7. Don Cromwell Live, an insightful, entertaining look into all aspects of the music industry. Join producer, songwriter, musician, and former Air Supply and Eddie Money bassist Don Cromwell as he brings you live performances and interviews with new artists, songwriters, and behind-the-scenes professionals, as well as a vast array of musical talents and personalities. Don Cromwell Live connects you with the artist. You'll never hear music the same way again. Host Don Cromwell brings you Don Cromwell Live, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Radio Star Worldwide and on demand 24/7. Produced by Star Worldwide Productions. You're listening to Life and Business, Fast Track to High Performance with Dr. Emily Letran. Now, back to Emily.
Welcome back, everyone, and welcome back, Brian. Brian, when you say in that doctor's office where the nurse is looking at you with bug's eyes, right? And because you are in such quote trouble, I would say that would be a turning point in your life, and because I'm sure everybody has several turning points in their life, but for you, that would probably be one of the turning points. What is your advice to us when we face a turning point?
That's a great question. One is to be aware of what just happened and really assess it. And, a turning point in the way I'm understanding your question is one that's something that wasn't necessarily such a good thing that happened to you. Am I getting that correct?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And here's the cool thing, Emily. One thing is to know, and it's hard to know this when it happens. When you're going through a turning point, it can be hell. It can be the worst thing you've ever experienced in your life. Know this, though, that it happened to you for a reason, because use that moment, use that time that you went through those rough times, use that. And when you right that ship, utilize the very thing you did to right that ship to get better, to help other people. And for me now, looking back on that moment, I'm so happy it happened. I'm blessed that my health was in a horrible disarray. I'm blessed. I feel blessed because it gave me what I needed, the life experience. It gave me the motivation, the drive to figure out all the best ways to improve my health, nutrition, and to operate at peak performance and live an amazing, happy life. I'm 52 years old, and I am the happiest I've been in my life because I have so much to look forward to, because I live it with energy, with vigor, with drive, with passion, with purpose, all because of that turning point. And the same exact thing can be true for every single person, no matter what their turning point situation happens to be.
Right. And when you call it a blessing, I would say a lot of people, when they actually are facing it, though, they don't necessarily see it as a blessing. They always look back and say, yeah, that was a blessing because I learned, it saved my life, etc., etc. But sometimes it's hard to look at a challenge as a blessing, right? And yeah, I mean, it comes with experience. It comes with some war stories, I think. When you face your most challenging moments, whether it's in your personal life or whether it's in your business, is there any daily practice that you use to keep your mindset? I know what you do for your energy, but to keep your mindset and to keep focus and actually tackle the problem and not so much sidetrack into just worrying about the unknown future.
Yeah, there's several. First and foremost, I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I know that there's nothing that, He's got my back at all times. He will never give me anything that I can't handle. But number two would be an attitude of gratitude. Always thankful about even the little things daily. Thank you for my ability to see. Even though my sight isn't perfect anymore, I'm still grateful that I can see.
Right.
Thank you for the fact that I can smell that beautiful smell in the morning that smells like rain and look at that beautiful sunset. And thank you for the fact that I have a wonderful, amazing wife and kids. And it just, once you go through that in the first part of your day, it kind of melts away anything else that comes during your day. But another thing that I did that was more permanent is not only did I go through processes through neuro-linguistic programming where, and I won't go into deep detail, but one of those was releasing the root cause of my fear. And that's more of the resistance type of fear versus the fight or flight fear, where you're in a situation where it's life or death. It's not that kind of fear. It's the fear that holds you back from moving forward. Well, what happened after going through that process, the first time as a client, all I can explain it as is a feeling of absolute liberation, and that there was no fear. I wasn't looking over my shoulder to see what's going to happen to me next, or I wasn't looking at something in front of me and saying, well, what bad things can happen if I go forward, even though I know if I go forward, it's probably going to be good for me. Many entrepreneurs face that kind of fear. Once I released that fear, once I went through that process, that had a lasting impact on me and my life. And that's what I now take my clients through, among other NLP processes. And it happens instantly. This process, when I first went through it, I mean, I could be off by a few seconds or minutes, but it took a grand total of 7 minutes to happen. An instant reprogramming of my brain for me to serve me better, which it changed my life. It was one of the beginning points of changing the rest of my life, was utilizing neuro-linguistic programming techniques.
That's great. You use that for all of your clients to help them get to the mindset that they need, because sometimes the exercise or the losing weight or getting onto a good nutritional regimen is a challenge to them?
Absolutely. It's an ingrained part of my program. In fact, NLP is like a tool belt. Imagine one of those leather tool belts you wrap around your waist with all those slots that you put hammers and other tools in. Well, NLP is just like that, where there are different tools on the NLP tool belt. One of those tools is hypnosis, which has been around longer than NLP itself, but it is a tool on the NLP tool belt. And I am a hypnotherapist, a master hypnotherapist, and I've created a Fitnotherapy. It's called Fitnotherapy series that helps my clients. I have them listen to it every day. 20 minutes is all it takes, and it helps to reprogram their mind to change their habits instantly. So that, and it's been reported time and time again by my clients that, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I never used to work out, Brian. I never used to work out. I've been doing it for a week, and I look forward to working out. I mean, a lot of people say, isn't that masochist? Because, but it's true. It happens. And because of the reprogramming that serves you, this is all to serve you better. Our subconscious minds, they are our subconscious minds. They are there to help and protect and serve us. And they will not allow, our subconscious minds will not allow anything in that will harm us. It's proven through Army. The Army has tried to do mind control. And I'm saying all this for anyone who may have hesitancy or resistance to hypnosis or the thought of it. There's a lot of myths about it. I was one of them. I really didn't want anything to do with it when I first heard about it. And since I've learned about it, it's really not hocus pocus. It's not magic. You're wide awake through the whole thing. You're just deeply relaxed. It's an amazing tool that I use with all my clients very, very successfully.
Yes. Yeah, I actually have also taken training in hypnosis and learn about that. So that's, it is, well, to me, whenever we are a coach, a servant to the public, it is our job to learn about all the different modalities that would help us help the clients get to wherever they need to go, right? So whether it's something that, the client may question it at the beginning, but as long as you produce the results, then it would be good for that client. And of course, as a practitioner, I'm sure you've done all the research and making sure that it does work. I mean, I know you say that it works for you. And making sure that we have all the data to back up whatever we provide to the client, making sure that we put their mission and their goal first before our goal, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. You work with a lot of busy professionals and entrepreneurs, and you say that your mission is to end fitness deficit disorder. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, that's something I came up with, just in case anyone looks it up and say they can't find it anywhere. Okay. There's a trend of obesity that's been going on for quite some time, and all you have to do is simply step outside. You'll see it in more than half of the individuals that walk by, and that's, to me, sad. I recently spoke with an individual who told me that their daily nutrition consisted of fast food for all 3 meals of the day. I was blown away. I was saddened. I was like, and dinner was usually pizza, like every night. And the thing is, FDD, fitness deficit disorder, because of that mindset, people are looking for the instant gratification, or they're saying, well, the rest of my family doesn't like this food. Well, if they are the head of the household or the one that is in charge of preparing the meals, then it is their responsibility, their duty for their family, for their friends, whomever they're preparing meals for, to give them something that serves them in a positive way. And not just something that tastes good and gets them instant satisfaction and they can sit back and take that next nap, but something that has high energy, that's clean, that's good for them, that was designed for them. That's where, fitness deficit disorder is just a term I use that it's along the same lines of the obesity epidemic that not just the United States, but many parts of the world are going through right now. And, one person at a time is what is my motto, to go at least change one person's life. Because here's what happens, Emily, and I've seen this happen several times. One young woman changed her life through my program, 90-day private one-on-one coaching. And as she was going through her transformation, as she was losing inches, and by the way, I don't go by weight, I go by inches and their energy levels. Weight is a horrible measurement of health. We'll go into that later if we have time. Her transformation was obvious. It was happening. She was thinning out. She was more vibrant. Her dad, greatly heavy, very obese, watched as she was transforming just because of her changing her mindset, of her dedicating herself to her health. He then started eating better and working out by just talking to her and saying, how are you doing all that? And that made me glow. I was so happy because you influence the people around you, whether you're telling them about it or not. You are a walking billboard is what I tell my clients. You've become a walking billboard. You don't have to say a word. They look at you and they just say the same thing as, I want what they're having, whatever it is. I want that because I know what they used to look like and act like. Now they're transformed. And that's happened multiple times. You always impact people around you when you change your habits, especially when they're changed for the better.
Right. One of the thing I also discuss with my clients a lot in high performance is the idea of necessity. Do they feel that it is necessary for them to achieve that particular goal? It's like, a lot of athletes go to the Olympics, but the one who wins is usually the one that feel it most necessary for them to get that medal, because then they would try harder. They would be more laser focused. They need to feel that drive that is necessary to get to that goal, for them to step up and actually carry out the action and actually be held accountable.
Yeah, it takes a lot of, it can take a lot of inner drive and inner motivation. And if you're lethargic, if you're tired, if you're cranky, guess where your motivation and drive is going to be? It's going to be absent.
Okay.
So it's all it is. Here's for everybody listening, the key to changing your life for the better is to simply start. Because once you start, you'll start noticing how much better you feel right after that first workout. A few days after eating clean, immediately after changing your mindset by reprogramming your mind, it will begin immediately. You'll notice it. You will get sore. I promise you that. When you work out, and if you haven't worked out for a while, I promise you will get sore. That's just a fact. And I have a saying about that. I say, okay, get sore, then get over it. Because what is it worth to you? Listen, the soreness only lasts for, it depends on the person, but 1 to 3 weeks, usually around 2. Around 2 weeks, the soreness dissipates, completely gone, and you don't ever get sore again until you work out a body part you haven't worked out before, and if you change up your routine. The beautiful thing is it does go away, and it's not there. It's rarely there. And I now get to where if I get sore, I actually like it because I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that muscle exists. That was awesome. I feel sore. But the key again is just start, because without starting, you'll never go anywhere. It's like you're in a ship. Let's say you're in a ship and there's no wind. You're in a sailboat and there's no wind, and you turn the rudder. Is it going to change course for you? No. You're going to go nowhere, and you're going to go nowhere fast. Well, if you start moving, if let's say you have an engine, you turn on the engine and it starts moving forward, and you change the rudder now, well, now you can change direction. And if you change direction, you may change it to the wrong direction at first, but if you're still moving, can you correct the direction you're heading? Yes. And so as long as you're moving, so start, move forward, get on any program you can possibly think of. Doesn't have to be mine. Just get on a program, go to a gym, get a membership, do what you like to do. Some people like to work out at gyms. Some people like to work out in their home in privacy. That's where my program comes in handy. Whatever it is, just start, because it's that important to you.
Right. The action of starting, that's usually is a challenge for a lot of people. And I think that's where a certified trainer like yourself or a mindset coach comes in, because a lot of the starting action has to do with getting your mind to agree with it, right? Because if not, then we're just going to come up with a lot of excuses, a lot of you know reasons why we don't start something, and we try to rationalize and justify all of them, and we just be comfortable with where we at. So you have moved so far in your goal, in your journey. Who is your role model
Oh,
in this whole journey, and why that person?
oh, wow, that's a great question. It's interesting, that people ask, "What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that? Who's your role model?" And I'm one of those people that I don't have just one, and I wouldn't call any one person a complete whole role model. And the reason I say that is because me included, no human on earth is perfect. So what I like to do is I like to concentrate on those values, those aspects of people that I find positive, that I find inspirational, motivational, and I don't concentrate on any negative thing that may be associated with that individual. A great example why I bring that up, for me, one of them is Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you can probably now imagine the positive and the negative with him immediately because he's a public
Right.
figure. For me, the positive is this is an amazing individual from the standpoint of, I mean, so many, but he came to this country without speaking the language. He instantly, not instantly, but very quickly became prominent in bodybuilding. And I've studied him. I've actually dug in deep and looked at his bio, I've watched video after video of him and listened to him, not talking about bodybuilding per se, but what I noticed with him was every time it came back to his mindset, whether it was bodybuilding, whether it was acting, whether it was running for office. So those are the positives I take away from him. And there are many more. I won't go into grave detail. I could probably write a biography on him. Of course, Jesus Christ, the first and foremost, biggest role model. There is no other. Uh, my dad, to varying degrees, mentors of mine. I have many, and I pull everything that I find inspiring and positive that will help people or myself, and I take those traits and integrate them into my life as they fit. I hope that made sense.
Yes, yes, and I'm similar to you. I have more than one role models. I think the idea that we would like to discuss here is sometimes you just can't do things on your own, right? You and then you go out and you look for solutions, and it's helpful to have a role model that have achieved certain status, have certain success that you can study, you can look up to,
Mm.
and certainly to have somebody to hold you accountable and to guide hold your hands along the journey, that would be helpful. But so, a lot of athletes I know for sure have role models. I'm just talking about you know a, a normal individual that they may just be holding a job, right? And sometimes they don't find that inspiration, who they aspire to become.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. So in that case, I have one that comes to right. My latest and greatest mentor, his name is Mel Cutler, from whom I learned NLP and hypnosis from, and so many other things. An amazing entrepreneur individual of the highest level of integrity. He holds so many positive qualities. He's one of the top living role models of mine that I would definitely say is someone that I model after. I model a lot of things that he does directly, and he's responsible for impacting my life in a big way. And it was right after, I mean, not long, it was weeks or just few months after I started or decided to start Global Fitness Club that I met him. And then my life began to change in a big, big way because of what I learned from Mel.
Yeah, great, great. And I actually know Mel, and I think he's an exceptional individual too. So, Brian, we share a lot today, going from fitness to nutrition to your story, where you have that significant turning point where you have to evaluate what you've been doing and then make a big change, to your really your leap of faith, right? actually opening a business just to keep yourself accountable. I think you must be the first one that I hear about this. A lot of people start businesses for different reasons, but to start a business to keep yourself accountable, I think that's very noble, and I applaud you for that. So when people want to connect with you, to know more about you, what is the best way to reach out to you?
Oh, great. Yeah, they can hit me up on Facebook. I'm on Facebook a good amount of time compared to other things. So it'd be Brian Carl Kelly, I believe. I don't even know my own username. I love it. You can look up Brian Kelly, and you'll sift through and find me. Another way is globalfitnessclub.com. There is a contact form there as well, so that will email me directly through that website. And I have an upcoming event called reachyourpeaksummit.com in Los Angeles. That would be yet another way. There are many different ways. You can find me through contacting Dr. Emily Letran directly, because she has all my contact information. She's an amazing young woman. I highly recommend everyone listen to her and meet her in person.
Well, that's passing the accountability over to me. Tell us a little bit more about the event. Is there an event page on Facebook that we can go and look up there, or?
Yeah, at this very moment right now, today, it's not up. I have a crew working on the website. It's near completion. It will be at reachyourpeaksummit.com. So just keep hitting that domain name. And by the time, if they're listening to this as a recording, it will be up and they can just go straight to it. reachyourpeaksummit.com. No event page yet, because I want to make sure the site is up and ready to take registrants who can attend before, widely promoting that domain name. But it'll be up by the time people who are listening to this who are on the recording. So definitely go check that out. November 19th, Los Angeles, 2016.
Okay. So if I am a busy professional, I don't have any time. I think I'm pretty healthy. Like I don't get sick. I think I can lose a couple pounds, but I don't really have a drive to have to achieve the next level of fitness right now. What would your advice be to somebody like that?
Well, first of all, you would have to have the drive. And I would, again, take you through an interview process to determine if you do have that drive. I can only help people who are willing to help themselves. It's, I would love to be able to do a mind meld with everyone and say,
Okay.
do this, you want this, here's the drive, now go do it. But that just simply isn't the truth of how it works. I've literally turned clients away because they did not have that drive. They did not have that determination. They were not willing to do what it took to complete the program. And it doesn't do a service to them nor to me if I take them on. And so I do take them through an interview process to determine that they are ready, that they are mentally ready, that, okay, after interviewing them, they may not know that they're ready until they've had that discussion with. And that's one of the beautiful things about the interview is it can bring up some things that they normally wouldn't have thought of.
Right. Okay. Well, great, Brian. Thank you so much for giving so much insight and share your story today. For anyone who likes to connect with him, please go to his website and check on that domain name so you can attend his event. I know it would be exceptional. And so thank you, everyone, for joining us today on the show. We just completed our interview with Brian, and thank you him for being on the show. He shares such golden nuggets so you can fast track on your journey to your physical fitness success.
Thanks for listening to Life in Business Fast Track to High Performance with Dr. Emily Letran. You can hear Emily every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific and anytime on demand 24/7 right here on Radio Star Worldwide.